Good morning. It is Saturday morning and we are here in Saturday Success Training. Have you ever felt like you were overwhelmed? Have you ever felt like you didn't know what to do first, you didn't know what to do second, you didn't know what to do right now, today, ever? You felt like you didn't know the first step to take. Well, then today is just for you. Michael and I were talking about one of the biggest problems that come up when you're starting a new business, and it is overwhelm and the inability to know what is the first step. You might be able to take a step from there, but what is the first step you need to take? Raise your hand if you've ever felt that way. I know I have. Oh yeah. Okay, it's almost overwhelming. I'm not sure if the dog feels that way, Michelle. If Michelle's dog feels that way. So that's what we're going to talk about today. What are the first steps that you take? And then how can you keep moving once you get that first step taken? Michael, go ahead and add something to that right there.
You know, it's one of the biggest things. Over the last 3 weeks, we've been teaching stuff that I thought was relevant to take you guys down the road. But here's the thing. If you don't know what road to be on at the first step, the first thing coming out of the gate, how can I do my best for you if we can't get you guys on the first step to make that first right step? What to do in your first 72 hours, And it really was bothering me because I'm sitting here getting people that are calling me and asking me, how do I set up YouTube? How do I set up Instagram? I love Leslie's training on YouTube, on Instagram, but I don't even know how to open up an account on Instagram. I'm trying to load pictures from my computer and it won't let me load pictures. Well, it has to be done through your cell phone. Well, they never knew that. And they spent hours trying to figure out. And so there's simple steps that have to take place. There's a mindset that has to take place. You've already made that decision on, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start on the path of opportunity. I just got done buying all these different programs, and I have no idea how to even get to them. But I'm going to figure this out. And then you're like, okay, where do I take? What's the first step? So, that's why I think that when Leslie brought this up, she's dead on. She is absolutely dead on what we need to do and what first steps that we need to take place. So I'll kick it back to you, Leslie.
Okay, great. And I love that you said that about Instagram, because if you knew me back before I even started Instagram, my kids had used Instagram, that kind of thing. And I knew how to take pictures on my phone, but I'd never done Instagram, honestly, before probably 9 months ago. So I was a total noob, and I was that person trying to figure out how to do it on my computer. Couldn't do it. I had to have my 18-year-old son teach me how to post my first picture on Instagram. So really, if you want to talk about a total noob, somebody who knew nothing about how Instagram worked, that was me about 9 months ago. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to start with Instagram because I saw these people in the Netherlands. I saw them getting 1,000 leads a month, 1,000 people wanting to know about their business every month on this free advertising thing called Instagram. So I was hooked. I said, I'm going to do that. Well, it took a little while to figure it out because I didn't even know how to post anything on Instagram. And then what happened? Oh my gosh. Then we started talking about Twitter. I wanted to go do that. And then somebody talked about YouTube marketing. Well, I want to go do that. And all of a sudden I was all over the place and I wasn't focused anywhere and nothing was working. I still wasn't getting those 1,000 leads a month that those people in the Netherlands were talking about. How come? I was using Instagram just like they were, but I wasn't getting my 1,000 leads a month. Why wasn't I getting my 1,000 leads a month, Michael?
It's because you were scattered throughout all the different knowledge that we're doing. Because if one leader who says, hey, this is what I recommend, I think you need to go do this, then we do it. And then you hear from David and he says, no, go do this. And then you go watch a training and the training video says, oh no, you need to go do Facebook. And then you go back and you go, wait a minute. So what's next? So if it's almost like church, we were talking about church earlier before you guys all got on here. How many churches do you guys go to on a Sunday? How many?
One.
Right? You only go to one. You don't show up in the Catholic church at 9 and then scoot over to the mosque at 11 and then try to pick up the synagogue by 3. It doesn't work like that. I know that there's some of you that try to attempt that. But that's what we're doing in our business right now. I feel like we got a lot of people trying to serve multiple different churches. The Facebook church, the Instagram church, the Twitter church, the David post, print, and copy, paste post church. And then we look back and go, I'm churched out. You know, I'm giving every church I sit in, they're passing the basket. And I'm putting out. And, you know, I need some blessings. Right? So I guess that's the easiest way for me to explain what it felt like after having a conversation with a few of you this week on what is the first step. I'm going to tell you right now, and I think Leslie I think all of you will agree, we got to pick one church. You, and not us as a group. You as an individual, you pick the church. You want to go to Facebook church. You want to go to the synagogue at Twitter. You want to go to the mosque on Instagram. You got to figure out what church is right for you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build a simple video process step by step. How do you open up a Facebook? When to post what on Facebook? When to post it on Facebook? How to attract people on Facebook? When do I open up a business page? What do I post on the business page? When do I post on the business page? When do I start a group? Where does the group go? What do I name the group? What's the best name for me to attract the right amount of people to post it at the right time? Very simple steps. So when we do that, I think you guys are going to start to do something that's really important, and that is to build an expert in Instagram. Because I'll never forget, it really hit me like a ton of bricks on Wednesday when somebody said, well, Michael, you were talking about how just I need to stick to Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, you need to stick to Facebook. Well, why are you going to do this thing with Lawrence on Twitter? That's a great question. That's a great question. So are you telling me that I need to come do Twitter now because Facebook's not good enough? No. God is great in all churches. You just got to pick the right church that makes the most amount of sense to you and have the success that you want to have in that relationship. Not saying that you're going to have a relationship with Facebook, but I'm trying to use the analogy of the guy upstairs. Right? It doesn't matter what message you use. It doesn't matter what book. As long as that book gets you to have a relationship up there, that's all that matters. But when it comes to your business, I think you need to have the same type of relationship, right? You're not having a relationship with Facebook and then you're having a mistress on the side with Twitter. It ain't going to work. Someone's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. There's going to be a separation. And then you're going to end up not having Twitter or Facebook because you're not going to be able to split your time. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to get married today to one church. Pick out one simple, whatever you're going to do, and just stick with it I say we stick with it for the next 60 days. You pick that and you run with it really, really hard. Okay? And that's my philosophy, because I don't know how to help you guys get to the next level until we get the first level done. I can help you with box with the B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through the alphabet, but I need you guys to put the box together A first so I know which B to be able to present you. So, and I think Leslie was the same way. She's like, we got great top content, we got great trainers, but we're not getting to the basic. And I think that's what it is. And it starts off with, step one. And that is you already picked the business, right? And if you haven't picked a what's the word I'm looking for? Target audience.
Yeah, your niche. Uh-huh.
In your niche, then we have to start there, because I can't assume that you all have niches. So we're not going to assume no more what I'm telling you. Right? Leslie, you want to take it over then? Back to you.
Yeah, I think that's great. And Don, get ready because we'll pull you in just a minute. But I think this really came to light for me when we started talking this week. We're all involved, or many of us are involved in a bigger team called the 8-Figure Mastermind. And one of our mentors, Lawrence Tam, who is an amazing man. He can do everything. It seems like perfectly every time he tries, but it's not true because we get to see his process. And he's going through a Twitter process this week. Everybody wants to get on board with the Twitter process because, you know, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to test Twitter with the $2 million man? That just makes sense, right? But does it? Does it really make sense if Twitter ain't your thing? Now, eventually, I am a huge proponent of you need to have multiple income streams. You need to have multiple marketing methods, but not today. Start today Michael's proposing 60 days. I'm going to even propose 90 days. Stick with one thing for a period of time, for 60 days, for 90 days. Ultimately, you'll have them all together, but freaking you're in kindergarten. You're not working on your master's degree today. Today, you're in kindergarten. And in kindergarten, we learn the alphabet. We don't learn how to write research papers in kindergarten. That's where we need to start, because that's one of the reasons it took me so long to figure anything out, is because I wasn't focused in a specific area. And once I figured out that Instagram was my area, and I focused and I wrote a list about what things I needed to do for Instagram, that's when I started getting leads every day. That's when my list started growing. And today, I get 40 to 50 people per day, 40 to 50 people reaching out to me and asking me about my business. I had to focus on Instagram first. That took me some time, right? And I want to go do the Lawrence Tam thing. I am pulling my reins back, right? Because I so want to go play with Lawrence Tam. He's so smart and he's made $2 million and I better go do what he's doing. Well, you know what? When he started, he didn't do everything. He blogged. That's what he did. He blogged and he used SEO on the blog. So now he can do a million things because he also pays other people to help him. And he has that knowledge base. And today I can write a research paper that kicks butt because I learned my alphabet in kindergarten, and I learned how to put together short words, and then I learned to put together longer words, and then I learned paragraphs and that kind of thing. There's a progression, and we're all stuck trying to be the $2 million man because that's what he's showing us, but we're not ready to be the $2 million man yet. Don, are you ready to come on out, bud?
Sure, what's up?
So tell us your thoughts on this, because you're starting to experience success, and it took you a little while. Tell us how that worked for you, and why is that suddenly working for you?
Well, let me tell you one success story, okay? Now, most of you know that I have a Corgi, okay? And I have an Instagram account called hashtag Corgi_daddy. So yesterday was National Dog Day, and I posted a picture. It's actually a professional photographer took that picture, who was one of Sue's friends. But I posted a picture, and in less than 24 hours, that picture got over 300 likes. Now, when you see something like that happening, you know that you've tapped into some resource that needs to be data mined, and completely used to your advantage. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and start DMing a lot, direct messaging a lot of people, which I haven't been doing that, and just make sure that, things start happening with this, because there is like a swell of interest in what's going on in Instagram right now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's totally true.
Just so think about this real quick, guys and girls. Starbucks started off with one type of coffee. They mastered the one type. How many types of Starbucks flavors do they have now?
Who even knows?
Who even knows, right? I mean, McDonald's brothers in Riverside, California start off with a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a fry, and 3 types of shakes, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. They mastered the basics. They mastered the basic. What we're trying to do is we want you to master the list. This is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Google Plus. These are all avenues to build a list. That's all this is. Your list is where you're going to find your 4 aces. I believe God's got a great sense of humor. He's put 4 aces in every deck of cards. It's like going to Vegas now. For us, in our business, it's like going to Vegas. It uses a 6-deck chute. And you know that inside that, there's going to be at least 24 aces will be in that big chute of deck. But we have to sort through them. So Facebook is going to be somebody's easiest way to sort. Somebody's is going to be Twitter. It's going to be the easiest way to sort. Someone's going to be Instagram, Snapchat, Google Plus, YouTube. All these things are just avenues to sort. And once you're able to sort one of them, right? And remember when we were kids and you'd watch those variety shows on TV with the guy with the stick? He'd take the stick and then put the plate on and then spin it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then he would grab, after he got it going, he'd grab another stick and then another plate. Now, he didn't try to put 2 sticks up and try to spin both plates at once, right? It was 1 stick, 1 plate. It was 1 coffee. Then it was decaf. And then it was like, okay, we're going to do a mocha. Now we're going to do a latte. Now we're going to do a Tai Chi. And they just add and add and add and add plates. Lawrence is at the point where he's got so many plates spinning. Now he's going back and saying, okay, how do I suck more life out of my Twitter? I want to go back and fix the Twitter plate. Okay, I don't want to have a small plate on Twitter. I want a dinner plate now. Okay, because I've got dinner plate already working on Facebook. I got a dinner plate working on Instagram. Now I got to go to Twitter. So now I'm going to remove the little teacup plate, and now I'm going to put on a big plate. Well, meanwhile, a lot of us we may have 1 plate just starting to spin. And we haven't really it's kind of like doing the wobble thing right now. You're trying to spin it, and it's wobbling, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, hey, there's a new plate and a new stand. Let's go grab it, and then that plate falls. So first step, pick the avenue on how to build your list. That's what this is about today. We really want you to focus in on what plate you're going to, what church you're going to pick, and make sure you have a target audience that you understand and how to tap into. Go ahead, Leslie.
So let's talk a little bit more about a target audience. What does that mean? So you heard Don talk about corgis, right? So Don has a variety of interests. He loves corgis. He loves travel. He loves World War II or military history. He writes books. He's the book kahuna. Where do you start? Because I love all of these things. It's just like you can read multiple books, right? But pick one. Pick one niche, and it will make you rich. If you guys have ever heard of Brendon Burchard, he says stick with one niche for 18 months. 18 months before you look at a different one. So who do I serve? I serve women who are trying to make sure. I serve the sandwich generation women who have mothers and parents and women who have children. And I serve them in trying to figure out how to be more available to their families through creating another line of income. Well, I also have these young adults coming up through my house. I want to teach them how to be successful too. But guess what? I can't teach them both at the same time. You think you can because we're women. Some of us are women and we think we can do everything. You can't. You learned how to cook. before you cooked and did the laundry at the same time, right? If I can tell you guys, the first time I taught my oldest son how to cook, you know, he'd cooked the little things for a long time by himself, but the very first time he ever had to do an entire meal by himself, he cooked the meat and he put it on the table. That's it, just the meat. I'm like, well, where's the vegetable and where's the other stuff? Well, I'm sorry, but your brain, even though you think it can, does not multitask well when you're just getting started. So he cooked the main dish. That's all we got for dinner that night. And you know what? We survived and we thrived, and it was excellent. You don't try to put together the whole Thanksgiving dinner and get it on the table this first time you ever try and cook. You don't know how to do that. You learn to make a main dish, then you learn to make the vegetables. And eventually, we'll bring it all together. In 3 years, you'll bring it all together and you'll be marketing multiple methods and maybe to a couple different niches, but you're not going to do that today. Does that make sense, Michelle? I want to ask you, because you are typing a little bit in there, so I'm unmuting you, girlfriend. Tell us, does this make sense? Is it kind of helping you get to where you need to be? Oh, no, now I can't see you. Can you come out and talk, though, Michelle?
Yeah, I am.
So tell us what you think, because you've been very successful before, but not in an online industry, right? This was a new endeavor for you to go online.
Yes.
But you know how to market and those kind of things. So is this helping you? Have you been struggling?
Yes.
Okay, tell us more about that. More than yes, girlfriend.
Yeah, you know, I've definitely been trying to do, you know, Facebook and a little bit of Twitter and a little bit of Instagram. And I'm just not, you know, of course, I'm not seeing a lot of results.
Right.
So, but that helps. So that helped a lot. I just have to focus on one. So one of my questions was, you know, well, you just described like your market. So maybe I think Instagram might be mine, because that's kind of my market. It is my market as well. You know, women, moms, you know, in that category. But Twitter, so what does Twitter cater to? Is there more of a different, you know, overall clientele, like you said?
Great question. Great question. Dawn or anybody want to take that? Or I can take it. It's up to you two.
Dawn says no, so you got it, Michael.
All right. That's a great question, because I want everybody to understand which social media does what for what generation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you go back traditionally and look on how Facebook is really grown, Facebook started off with the Gen X and the millennials, and it is slowly creeping up the scale towards the Gen X and baby boomer side. It's actually starting to transfer that way. The funny thing, Instagram was the new thing for kids less than 2 years ago. Now it is slowly starting to go to the other side, right? It's got a long way to go to get to the other side, but it's already starting on that path. Twitter is a speed free-for-all. That is like the master puke, ambush and puke site. That's where you can throw anything up, and it's like throwing it's like throwing mud at a wall. And whatever sticks, sticks. You don't know. Your audience could be MLMers, but what they're really doing is the MLMers that are on Twitter, they're looking for content. All they're doing is stealing content. That's it. You know, there's been some people in EN that have had success with Twitter because they were doing ads, and they've been playing with paid traffic and stuff on Twitter, and that can get into different target audiences, and you can convert a lot of MLMers from the new shiny object to your shiny object. But when you do that, just know that they're going to leave just as fast as they got in, because they're only looking for the shiny object. So Twitter's like a free-for-all right now. Facebook is really for, I think Facebook is really for, if your age demographic is between 28, 30 to 55, 60, 65, I think that's where you're going to be more comfortable with right now. If your Instagram is more visual, and understand there's a lot of visual people out there, I think you're going to hit the 20-something to the 45, 50-something crowd on Instagram. That's really about what it is. Those are all more visual people. Pinterest is very visual, extremely visual. If you're in a product service program and you've got a product that you're trying to promote and build, I say Instagram and Pinterest is your place to be, because that's where a lot of people are doing it. If you're trying to push multi-level or direct sales, I think you're going to be Instagram, Facebook. If you're looking for executives and really trying to dive into your market, Twitter and LinkedIn is going to be your place. But really, it's going to be up to you and your target audience. Do you really think that a CEO of a Fortune 500 company is going to be on Twitter? Probably not. They'll probably have somebody already promoting their stuff. They may have a social media person, but they're going to be on LinkedIn. They're going to be over at LinkedIn. They're going to be looking and dividing and sorting out, personally looking for who they're wanting to grab content from, as well as who can they grab into their business to actually help them build and develop their dream, right? But if I'm a single mom and I'm pushing a skincare line, I'm going to either be on Facebook doing lives, demonstrations, or I'm going to be on Instagram showing testimonials and then trying to redirect them back into a group on Facebook to get them to purchase my product or to work with me side by side and lock arms. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And I have something to add to that, though.
Yeah, please.
Once you figure out a method, so don't freak out if you don't know where your target market is going to be. I don't care. Because ultimately, we're going to probably teach you everything. I can't imagine that you're not going to know the whole suite. Because by the time you put Thanksgiving dinner on the table, you know how to make a main dish. You know how to make great veggies. You know how to make a dessert. You know how to make bread rolls, right? So ultimately, you're going to figure it all out. Just pick one to start, and I don't care which one.
Yeah, that's really
one niche to start. And I don't care which one. Just pick one and start there, because ultimately, you'll go through it all. And here's a story about why. Many of us here know Brian Couch, know who Brian Couch is. He is traveling the world, and he is using this business to travel the world. But guess what? Brian Couch was the YouTube expert on our team. He was fabulous at YouTube. And guess what happened? YouTube shut him down. So every lead he was getting before for free, all of the years that he spent building up his business, was now zero.
Yep.
That's why we're going to teach you how to learn all of them. And we're also going to teach you how to set up things like YouTube so that when one account gets shut down, you don't have all 20 accounts getting shut down. I already have had 2 of my Instagram accounts shut down, but guess what? I had 18 others. And if Instagram goes to pot, I'm going to build something else, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready to start building something else yet. And I'm getting 50 leads a day on Instagram. And you want to go ahead and build Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and everything at the same time? It's not going to work. I tried it. It didn't work for me. It's probably not going to work for you. Although you might be smarter than I am, it's still very difficult. And I've had to hire a virtual assistant. This week I hired a virtual assistant to help me with those 50 leads that I'm getting a day, because I don't have enough time to do everything. So understand that ultimately you'll do everything, but Lawrence Tam talks about how you need to get virtual assistants. You need to get helpers in there helping you. Yep. You're not going to be able to do it all by yourself. It's just impossible, even for people like Lawrence Tam. But he's making the money first. He got the leads. He got the income in to support automating or outsourcing those things. Right, Michael?
Yep, that's all. If you guys know me, I can't write and spell a lick. I just can't. I'm not built that way. It just was not. My favorite class in school was show and tell and recess, man. Let's just be real. That's it. Recess and show and tell. That's what I focus on, pouring the best cup of Michael Farino you can get. I do not focus on decaf. I do not focus on mocha. That's just not. So I outsource all that stuff. I outsource as much as I possibly can. I outsource. And when I can't, then I push myself to learn just enough to be dangerous, so then I can better explain what I need when I find the next person I can outsource to.
Right.
Because sometimes the people I outsource, they're great, but if I can't explain exactly what I need them to do, it costs me money in the long term. You got to be specific. Is that the right word?
Yes, specific, yes.
And if you're not dead on, and sometimes it's a language barrier, sometimes it's a knowledge barrier. I may be talking about a slide, and I really need to be talking about a header and not knowing the difference because the slider is at the top, It's just crazy. So what I'm telling you to do is master, just master the one thing that you're good at. Let's just master it. And then we're going to share, my goal is we're going to share resources. Once you get up and running, we're going to teach you the basics. We're going to show you when to post, what not to post, where to post. So each and every one of you is going to have your own little training modules that's going to go working for you because that's what you're targeting on. So we want to build those out so you guys can take advantage of those. And we're going to put systems together because, Leslie, I've learned more from Leslie than I did from all the EN videos. I literally have, and it's amazing on how many hours and hours and hours and hours of video there is. But when you actually sit down, Leslie, and she says, okay, Michael, you have to open up 5 pictures, 1 video, 3 have to be content, 3 have to be value, or 2 have to be value, and 1 has to be business. I watched 12 hours of freaking videos, and not once did they actually say, this is how you do it. Here's your 3 pieces of value, your 2 pieces of personal, 1 piece of business. I have done that since the moment and it took me, and I want to let you guys know, it took me 5 times to hear her say that to me. 5 times. And I got it. I got it like a week and a half ago. If you watch my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest, because I'm juggling all of those, they're all done the same way now. Everything's the same. I put up 3 value, 2 personal, 1 business. Everything. The only thing that changed is on Fridays, I don't talk about business at all. I talk about funny, weird, off-the-wall crap. That's the only time I ever talk about weird stuff, just the crap that's on my mind. And if you watch my Facebook, you'll know that my mind is like a hot mess.
Which is good, though, right? Because ultimately, this is just a place to start. My kindergarten teacher taught me my letters.
Yep.
And then my 1st grade teacher taught me words. But now, and my master's degree taught me how to put them together. Well, now it's mine. And I put it together the way I want to. But they didn't give me all those options when I started out. They gave me a recipe. If you're a cook, if you're a great cook, you never follow a recipe. A recipe might be a good guideline, but then once you learn how to cook, you do your own
tweak
thing.
it.
Right? You tweak it. You make it yours. And it's okay because you know what works and what doesn't. And you have your own personal taste. But when you're starting out day one, you need a formula to follow because that's all you understand. Right? You need a formula to follow. And I follow the same formula on all social media. And like I said, I kind of dabble in those others, but I'm just an Instagram girl right now. I use Facebook because Instagram doesn't let you type on a computer screen. That's why I also use Facebook. Otherwise, I would do it all in Instagram. So it's a formula. And as you age, as you mature, as you grow up, you will do your own formula, the formula that works for you. And don't feel bad about changing the formula because when you get there, you won't need to follow the formula anymore. You'll make it work for you. And that's really important, right? Leslie, love you, Leslie, but we need basics like how to PM someone. Exactly, Barbara.
Yeah,
Exactly. And that's why Michael and I are having this little talk today, because what we're going to do, it is impossible to teach everyone everything you need to know here. So what we're going to do is create a 30-day fast start program, and it is going to be from the basics. So let's just talk Instagram right now, because that's what I know. So if you take a 30-day fast start program on Instagram, the first thing it's going to do is show you how to create an email on Google+. So because we all know, if you've been following me, that you need an email for every Instagram account, and it has to be a separate email. Then I'm going to teach you how to set up a telephone number, and then I'm going to teach you how to set up an Instagram account, right? It's going to be real basic. And then I'm going to teach you how to post your first picture. And then I'm going to teach you how to post videos. And then I'm going to teach you how to do the formula. So there'll be basically I'm expecting 30 days for most programs to get you in at the most basic level. Because Barbara, I remember sitting beside you when you posted your first video in Nashville and you didn't even know how to link to YouTube. So I'm going to destroy everything that I have and start from scratch. Barbara, tell me, if that, I'm going to have you come out. Is that the type of thing that you think you need?
Yes, because since you know me in Nashville, I knew nothing, scared to death. And I'm learning so much. But what I'm not learning is like, how do I set it up? I didn't know. I was like, Michael, I thought you could go. I actually had to hire a 15-year-old to come over to my house and help me to set up Instagram because I didn't understand it. You teach great things, absolutely. But when you don't even know how to set it up,
right?
And so everything's like, whoo, 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 over my head. And I know, okay, well, I'll learn that later on. This is good stuff. But it's just like, well, I can't even.
You can't get started because it wasn't basic enough.
Yeah, and when you talk, and if you know what you're doing, then what you're saying makes sense and it works. But I'm like, okay, now how do I put this, how do I rewatch it in slow motion because it goes so fast?
Right.
And if you don't know, then you just don't get it.
Yep.
Right. And that's exactly what we've identified. And it might take us a little while to get it right. So that's why what we wanted to do was create a beta program, right? And you guys would be part of our beta program that we create this. And here's the great part. Once this gets created, especially if you help us create it, then you will be able to use that for your own newbies. Because let's face it, as we grow out of the network marketing business and we target people who were just like us when we started, didn't know the first thing about anything. I run an accounting program worth millions of dollars in my real life. I didn't have the first clue how to even get onto Facebook. I'd never used Facebook before I started this business, right? So we're all the same. We all start off at the same level, not knowing what the frick we're doing. And if somebody had started at the basics with me, I would be so much farther along than I am right now.
That's us.
Can I say something else also?
Yeah.
But also when we were in Dallas, that we were in our meeting in the middle of the night. Love those meetings because you learn so much. But they were talking about someone had an account for flowers. Dawn has an account for corgis. And there was somebody else had an account for something else. So what I was thinking, because it wasn't, and I'm sorry, I kind of need those little, okay, you're going to have to spell it out for me. Right. I was thinking, okay, well now, you know what? I'm going to create an account for doing about my dogs, Shih Tzus, and then I'm going to do an account for working out, then I'm going to do an account for food trucks. But then after a couple weeks, I realized, how do you put something in all? And then Leslie said, well, no, you just get accounts that are like that. And I think when you're starting off, because I was thinking, because we were talking,
they talk about that.
And then you have, but look, if you're just starting off, make it the same area, because then you can go off and do a corgi and Dawn says, okay, now I need to flip everybody There's no way I could even, I just need to know how to set it up and make a like accounts. So I just want to clarify that too, because we talk about, like Don was talking about his Corgi account, but he's advanced now. And like you said, he's having success. And that, so I just want that. And when we were in Dallas, it confused me.
Well, and that's where I came in, because I went and I opened up, like, let's say I opened up a dog account. So my next account would be one of the dogs, like a certain type of dog maybe, that came out of the dog account, right? And then I would open up an account about dogs on the beach, right? And then I would go from, then I'd go to, and then I did one on celebrity dogs? Mm-hmm. And then I went from celebrity dogs to another dog to a different dog. I've got like 6 dog accounts now. I'm like the dog father of Instagram.
Right, yep. He's
right?
got an account that says that, dog father of Instagram. Yes.
Dog father of Instagram. That's one of my Instagram accounts, right? And then, and then I have a Frenchie. Amy has a Frenchie, so we have a Da Vinci is our dog, so he's got his own account, and they're all within the same realm. And then what I do is and we're going to get into this, but one of the video is me telling them thanks a lot for stopping by, and if I can show you how to have a day with the dog rather than a boss, change out your boss for a dog throughout the day, instead of working 9 to 5, change out and hang out with your best friend. Message me. So I'm building bridges to make sense from a dog account to the business side of it.
That's right.
Someone asked me, like, I have one, I like to surf and eat fish tacos. So it's easy to put up one about surfing. And then I put up one about old vintage surf shops. And then I did one about girls also surf. And then surf towns, surf cities, best places to surf. It's all kind of the same thing. And then someone says, well, how do you tie that to your business? Well, I'm able to do all this because of my business. If you want to learn how I'm doing this 4 hours a week, come take a look.
Right? You have to be able to bridge into that. So if you're going to do flowers,
you better
every kind of flower, right? Do 15 flower accounts. But the whole point is, if you do flowers and then you invite someone to your business, you have to be able to bridge it. And that's kind of what happened when we were talking in that room in Dallas. We talked about flowers, we talked about dogs, we talked about
trees,
but we didn't talk about
bridging.
How does that bridge into your business? That makes no sense, right? If we don't fill in those dots, you have to ask the question so we know what dots we're not filling in.
Yeah. And then the sad part is that a lot of the leadership, we already assume that you know what you know if you didn't know, because if you didn't know what you didn't know, you would have asked. But then you don't know what to ask because you didn't know what you knew, because if you would have known, you would have known. And we would have known to ask the right question,
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew? Nobody knew. Nobody knew.
And that's if you don't see that is the circle that's happening right now. Exactly. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to stop the circle. All we're trying to do is go back and say, okay, here's the thing. Michelle was 18 years in network marketing. She put more miles on her car. Her children were being raised by nannies rather than her. And she was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom who never stayed at home. So her target audience is other women who quit corporate America so they could raise a family, and then found themselves in a network marketing company where they were never home. I mean, she didn't even have room in her family van for her own kid because she had so much product that she had to go deliver that week. So it's easy to identify the pain, but if Michelle doesn't know how to build an Instagram account to explain that pain and then be able to bridge it into a business, it doesn't matter. So what we're getting at is that we need each and every one of you to really target in, and if we need to help you develop a target audience, we will. If we're going to teach you step-by-step on how to open up an Instagram account and build it, and when to post and what to post and how to post it, and how to build hashtags and how to duplicate that account, and to be able to drive that business to somewhere off of Instagram and into a different avenue so you can actually have better conversations, that's what we're going to do. That's the plan over the next 30 days.
I have another like Tuesday, Michael stepped out and talked to me, and I didn't even know my Facebook was just a mess. Just little things like that. And I cleaned it all up, and I did everything Michael told me to do on my Facebook, just my Facebook account. He hooked me up with somebody because I don't know anything about doing any type of graphics or anything. He's like, here's this guy. And he talked me through it. Okay, what do even those type of things, just visual things, because that's how somebody, and he really explained it to me. This is how someone gets to know, like, and trust you. And that's so important, because that's the first place they go. And it was a mess. I didn't have an about me. And I just thought, okay, well, I'll just post it on my Facebook. I didn't know that either. I didn't know. I was like, Michelle, honey, you and I are kinship, because I don't know anything about the internet.
And Michelle was a six-figure earner consistently for 18 years and had thousands of girls all over the country driving around in their minivans, never being home. And then finally just said, holy shit, my kid thinks the nanny is her mother. This has got to stop. Right? I mean, that's just the way it is. And you know, I want to know, like, Dawn, I look at someone like Dawn, and I see Dawn is at a baseball game in the middle of the day, and I go, damn, son of a bitch, how does he do that? And then they go research, and then you go to a Facebook page that doesn't make any sense, and you're like, well, I don't know what, you know, he probably just took the day off of work. And that ended that conversation in my head. But if I saw what his clear intention was, and what is he doing, and how does he interact with individuals, and then lead me on a path to get to know, like, and trust him, then I would realize, son of a bitch, this guy's working probably 4 or 5 hours a day. He's hanging with his dog. He watches baseball. He's going to like Europe for like 3 months or 3 weeks or something. Holy shit. I want this guy's lifestyle. Right. But we got to get you there first. We got to get you guys to that step. And that's what we want to do. And if it wasn't for Leslie bringing it up and going, hey, look, you know, I can't be the only one. And I'm like, no, you're not. But it was great that you brought it up, because now the elephant has been exposed, and now we know where to start. So this should be fun. This should be a hell of a ride for the next 30 days. But we need a little bit of time to build it, though. Is that okay? So.
And it's not going to be here on these Saturday meetings, because honestly, what you're asking us to build, what we're going to build, is 10%. I have a little knife here, right? So what you're asking us to build is only this tip of the knife. The other 90% of what you need, this 90% is still what these Saturday success trainings are going to be about. It's all about the mindset, because if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have this 90%, this 10% doesn't frickin' matter.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need to know the how. You need to know the why. The why. And we're all trapped in getting this 10% done. Well, that's the reason, honestly, that Dave and Lawrence and those kind of people don't train in this 10%, because it's 10% of what you need. They train in the 90%. But not all of us think the same. Not all of us have the same logical brains, right? We all think differently. And this is what's tripping us up. This 10%, the how, is what's tripping us up. So we're going to teach you the how so that you can get that behind you. Get thee behind me, Satan, or whatever you want to say. And then we're still going to do this 90%, because that stuff is never going to change. Every day, you've got to be building this 90%. You've got to work on you. You've got to work on what's between these two ears. And we'll show a little bit of the how. We'll give you enough to get started, because you can't start paying somebody to do what you don't even know how to do, right?
Yeah.
We'll help you get started there. We'll give you that little bit of techie stuff, but we're not going to let you get stuck there. That's why it's a 30-day program or so, and we're still going to do this. This is the big stuff. This is the important stuff. You've got to read. You've got to listen to audios. You've got to come to these Saturday sessions, because that other stuff is the how do you do it. This is the why do you do it. Michael, you've made millions in this industry. Has it ever been about the how?
Oh my God, it's always been you're right on. It's the process. Once you understand the how, then it's okay, how much? It goes to how much. It's how fast can you put somebody through the system to get to your level? How fast? How fast? It's like if me and Ed went, and let's say me and Ed went together and we bought a McDonald's, cost $2 million, let's say, liquid. I think you got to have. He puts up $1 million. I put up $1 million. He goes to the university, and I go to the beach. And then I come in on opening day, and I'm like, wait a minute. We don't need hats. Who needs hats? He goes, no. I went to the university. I went to the University of McDonald's. You went to the beach. You have to wear hats because it's about cleanliness. It's about that. He's like, no. I don't. I go, dude. I never wanted to wear hats when I was a kid. I'm not making kids wear hats. This is it. He has to explain it to me how, and then we go, okay, how many kids can we get to come work here? How many burgers can we push out? How? And that's the process. I don't need to worry about the hats. He already learned about the hats. He just needs to tell me how the hat works, why it works, and then let's get into having, there's nothing. I mean, imagine opening up a McDonald's and you get to the drive-thru and you say, okay, I want a number 1, and they go, great, you want it supersized or whatever they call it, and you're like, nope, and you go up, you pay for it at the first window, and you get to the second window, and they go, okay, I'll be here in about a week. You're like, a week? Well, he focused on making sure that everybody had the hats and all the fancy equipment and make sure how it all worked and do all the billing. But it was my job when I was at the beach. I was supposed to order, and I didn't order any product. So now I'm telling my employees, all right, hey, pick. I'll have your number 1 here in about a week. It doesn't work that way. See, and what's happened is we're coming through the drive-thru. We just purchased this big thing called EN. We just purchased it. We go to the next window and say, okay, we're going to do a training next week. You're like, wait a minute. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what I have. I don't know where to start. And you're telling me I got to build a list. We're going to tell you how to build a list. We're not going to assume that you have a list. We're not even going to assume that you have a target audience to build a list. We're going to assume the first thing is that you just learned how to turn on your computer. That's what we're going to assume. And if you haven't gotten a computer, we're going to tell you where to go buy one, which one you need, why you need a certain one to be able to do certain things that you want to do. That's how crazy this is going to be. Because we don't want any stone unturned. Because when Leslie brought this to my attention, it just like opened up the window. I mean, it was like a freaking light bulb went off in my head. So thank her for coming up with it because it was freaking brilliant. Any other ideas, concepts, questions?
Okay, I'm going to start unmuting everybody. And
I
want you guys to come out now and start throwing some questions out there or throw some questions in chat. What kind of things? Yeah. Where do you want? Give us some of those questions you have. Start shooting them out, and we'll start making those the top ones that we hit. So if you have any questions, now is the time to bring them up. So Barbara, you started. Did you have something now?
Yeah. Can we say it, or do we have to type it?
No, you can say it.
Oh, okay. Are we still going to have, like, last week's training, I think, was very universal on how to connect with people? Are we still going to be having those type of trainings? Because I think that was very helpful.
Yes.
Yes, we are going to help how to overcome objections. Did you guys all like that last week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm using it at 3:30 this morning. I was using it.
And how did it work?
3:30 this morning.
I'm still talking to her. I didn't just throw out my link. I'm finding out her pains. Why does she want to be on the internet? So but she lives in the UK, so we've been chatting back and forth a little bit. But instead of just like, she goes, well, that's what I'm interested in. And I'm like, and I talked to her and said, oh, here's, instead of throwing my link at her. So thank you.
We are always going to have those modulars available. Always.
And that's the type of stuff we'll still do here every Saturday.
We're still going to do here on Saturdays. It's just the idea is that how can I teach you to have overcome objections if you have nobody's over objection to come over?
Right? If you haven't touched anyone.
Did that just make sense what I just said?
Yes.
Okay.
We're used to you by now, Michael. You don't talk in complete sentences.
Yeah, I'm not a complete kind of.
I have to tell you guys this story. I have never realized this about Michael, but he sent a couple of his videos to this guy in India to transcribe for him, right? And so I'm reading the transcription, and it's like an entire page of one sentence, one run-on sentence. And when I'm looking at it, I realize that's how he talks. He talks like that, but I'd never realized it because the value is always so good. And then I'm reading this transcription. I'm like, oh my God, this man never takes a breath.
Yeah, and that's how it is. So if I can make money doing this industry, any one of you can do this so much better than I can. All I did is I was able to put it together in my own head. And once I'm able to put it in my own head, imagine being a lifeguard. If you don't know how to swim, how in the hell are you ever going to save anyone else? Right? And that's how I've always thought of my life. If I'm going to go try to teach somebody how to do something, I damn well better figure out how to do it myself, or I'll never be able to get there. Well,
right.
I'm not going to sit there and try to write a freaking 2,000-word blog. It would take me months, and there'd be so many corrections when I was done. It would be horrible. It would be like gibberish. So I gave it to this poor bastard in England.
Oh, he was in England?
He was in England. Okay. And I said, I'll shoot a video. You take out the guts, and you build me a blog. And he goes, absolutely no problem. He literally sent me back word for word what I said, and I went, I could have done that.
No, but it was great. It was great because it has all your personality. It
was like reading me.
You just can't read it. That's all. I couldn't read it, but it was perfect. And that's okay. We'll teach you things like that because you're not going to be able to do it all by yourself. I know the first time I ventured out to outsource, I outsourced Instagram, right? Utter failure. She couldn't open my accounts. I couldn't see the accounts. She just opened for me. So I threw that away. I'm not having her do Instagram anymore. But I learned how to chat my Instagram leads, and now I've given her a script. And Monday she started chatting my Instagram people on Facebook with the script that I gave her. So I didn't give up. You are going to fail a million times. You just will. And if you're not failing, you're not moving forward. So just be prepared to fail. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and organize and put a nice little bow on it. Because right now we're just so unorganized. You go here, then you go there. It's like trying to cook in my kitchen right now because I have 4 adult children living with me. Freaking put the spices on the spice rack. No, in somebody's bedroom. What the heck? Why do you have that in your bedroom? How am I supposed to cook when you have the cinnamon in your bedroom, for Christ's sakes? Who looks for it in your bedroom, right?
Yeah.
But that's what we're struggling with right now. There's no organization. There's no methodical way to go through. So we're going to do that. Michelle, I saw your comments. Where are the recordings? How do you find it? We're going to go through all of that because we're missing that. The foundational level is what we're missing. We're still going to do this stuff, and this foundational level is going to happen behind the scenes. We're not going to talk about it every Saturday like here because we really do need to teach you how to deal with objections, how to talk to people, those kind of things. But that other level is still necessary. You still need to get that. So what other kind of questions? Do you have other questions you want to throw out at us? Other concerns? Anything else? We have an open forum right now. I think I have almost all of you unmuted. So now's the time. We have about 3 minutes left before we turn this off for the week. So are you going to make a website to host it all? No, we kind of already have all of that there. So it's going to be on Michael's PhD MLM website, which we're all going to be part of and can get to, and that should be up sometime later this week. But that doesn't matter because it's all available right now. It's a Digital Mastery Facebook group. The things that we have out are already available, and we'll just organize it a little bit better. We'll help you find it. So it'll be fine. That's a great question.
Yeah,
yes,
we're gonna.
I love to ask questions.
That's why we're here. That's why it's open forum.
I want to ask, since we have this group, it's just an idea that came up. If we could take this video, this one right here, and condense it a little bit and maybe use it as like just for the people that are on here that have come in, like Michelle, because probably the people she's going to reach out to are driving around everywhere, they're not going to know how to use the computer. But if we can say that, okay, for our new people, can we use this as a marketing if we cut it and slice it? And so, because Michelle can say, well, look, just this is the group. Yes, I belong to EN, but we have our own group. And then if we can slice it up a little bit, this would be a great marketing.
And there you have it. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're putting together I'm putting together a PhD MLM website. Just in the process of getting it started and developed right now. And what we're going to do, that's going to be a resource center
for you.
That's going to have trainings. It's going to have all kinds of different. It's not just me. It's going to be multiple different professors. People are going to become professors, and they're going to get their own PhD basically in marketing. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that into there, and there'll be a resource center if you want to learn who do we use for Fiverr, who do we use for this, who do we use for that, where to get it's going to be we're going to put social media packages together. What do you need to do if you're brand new and you don't even have social media? We're going to have a tripod, what cameras to use, what phone we recommend. It's going to have, I'm telling you, it is going to be a literally from soup to nuts program. It is going to, it's going to have Dawn's recommendations. It's going to have anybody who grows into that role of, because remember, the whole idea of what we're doing is my philosophy in the very beginning was, first you're going to learn it, then you're going to do it, and then you're going to teach it. So each and every one of you will grow into a teacher. And you'll have modulars. You're going to have modulars that you recorded that were so much better than the first plate that we're going to update consistently with different people to take over, because that will be the first step. So when someone says, where do I go? And they'll actually be on a step one. And it will have all the step one modulars, and they're just going to go through each one. And it's going to be first you're going to learn it. So let's say it's a 3-minute program. 3 minutes, you're going to watch it, and then you're going to go to Facebook, and then you're going to do it. And then you're going to do a video, see what you just did.
Okay, you have to do the horse shack thing, because Michael can't hear you if you don't say, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Go ahead.
Oh, ooh, 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 ooh.
That's right.
Okay, and that's great. That's definitely down the road, and I understand that. But I'm just talking about if I'm talking to this girl, she's new online. If we take this video, today's training, and cut it up and say, the PhD MLM, and just use cut it to 3 minutes. This way they know it's kind of like a tool for us, for me, okay, let's say me, that I can show her a 3-minute video. Look, this is what, we belong to. I also belong to this Saturday mentoring, and this is what we offer. This would be before they join, while they're in their 2 weeks. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just this video alone, because people need to know, like me, this would be because that's what I was told when I joined, is that we're going to teach you how to do these things. Well, you know how that worked out. And so if something did happen to me and I went somewhere else, or they could still be within this group.
That is the key. That is the key that is driving this. Okay. Yeah. So what happens, because I'm doing all this work for Michael, and I'm doing this work for Rebecca, and Michael's doing this work for so-and-so. What happens if I get hit by a bus? Then everything that I'm trying to do gets ended. That is not leaving a legacy for our family. That does not raise my children. That is not the life insurance policy I want to buy.
Right. And that's why we're building it this way. That's why we're going to build it. We got another question here. Do you guys recommend people get their blog set up? Okay, a blog is long-term. Blogs are long-term.
Right.
And what I want you to do is I want you to make money long-term, but you also have to make money short-term to get to the long-term.
Right.
So what I'm going to recommend is we focus on some short-term, and meanwhile, because you're not going to spend your whole day doing social media. Let's just be real.
Right.
My goal is to teach you how to do something within an hour on social media, so you have another hour to read, to learn something, and then to go focus on something new just to dabble with. Does that make sense? And then your last hour is opening up the conversations on what you did your first hour, because I want you to have results.
Right.
So I'm going to try to teach you 4 hours a day to do that. This is what you're going to do for 4 hours.
Yeah, I want to know how you're making 5 figures a week. I want to be making 5 figures a week. I've been in EN for almost 3 years, and I've made $42.
Right.
I mean, I just need to get somewhere with this.
Well, that's the idea, is that we don't know what part that they missed teaching you. We want to go back and make sure everybody has every part. So
My sponsor totally dropped out as soon as I signed up, and
Yeah,
I just
so
got all in back in April. So
That's normal, Shelley.
That's normal.
I mean, there's not one of us, well, maybe Don, because I was his sponsor, and Tanisha, because I'm her sponsor. Ed, I don't know yours. But
Dave.
usually,
And I'm adopted.
right?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
adopted under Lawrence now, thank God. But
Yeah, but that's
I've
the
been
idea.
totally
You're right.
lost.
So
That's
Shelley,
the way it is.
And I looked at my blog last night because I was talking to somebody who was also in EN before that is contemplating getting the max performance when she sells her house. And she was like, well, let's go look at your blog. Will you go look at my old blog and tell me if I was doing it right? And she was so caught up in this whole blog thing that we got to looking at my blog, and I was like, gosh, I kind of look like a dumbass because my blog is like everywhere. I've an article about herbs. I have an article about GMO-free foods. I have an article about water. I have an article about,
So you're not
like
focused
it's all
in,
over.
right? You're not focused in. So think of it, and this will be one of the ones that we do. Maybe we should do this next week. Okay. I learned about how to do this, how to organize this. So this is your teaser for next week, because I loved this. Okay. Think about a golf. Right? So we're going to think about golf. Think about whatever your thing is. Your thing isn't golf, okay? But what is your thing? And we're going to do this next week. And we're going to say golf. And it's going to be this big circle in the middle of the page. And then we're going to build tiny circles all around the page. Golf course, golf equipment, golf clothes, golf whatever, golf vacations, golf whatever. What's your golf? What's your golf? We're going to do that next week. You know who taught me that? Chris Record. You guys all know who Chris Record is, right? He's amazing. But he does a new thing. He's like ADHD. He's the smartest man I think I know. But he totally has ADD or ADHD because he doesn't stay in the same damn thing longer than 3 months or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it too. I was just never diagnosed.
And that's all okay for that style of growing. Go ahead, Don.
Okay, Shelley, here's the thing. As you're growing all your other social media platforms, what will begin to happen, and what I'm starting to notice, because I have over 200 blog posts that I moved from my WordPress blog into Kalatu, is that when people start noticing you on, say, Twitter, Instagram, your blog posts will start to get visibility as well.
Right.
I'm getting more leads now through Truth or Hype, and I was like, where the heck are these coming from? People are actually going to read my blog posts now because my Twitter account is the Book Kahuna, and my blog posts are all about publishing and books and everything. And now they're going to that. So it's like, kind of like it feeds everything. So don't give up on the blog, because seriously, the blog is your base.
Right.
Okay.
It's your
And once everything else starts to kick in, that people will be going to your blog too.
Yep. And there's people that have blogs. There's people that don't even know how to even open up a blog. They don't even know that they even have blog capability, because they're so focused on making sure that they're on the 9 o'clock, the 8 o'clock, the 7 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, the 5 o'clock, the 11 o'clock, the midnight 1, the 3 a.m., and then Saturday, that they're like, holy shit, I spent so much time this whole week listening to Bill and Will and Ann and Jennifer.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
Right. Well, I'm now out of that.
Don't worry about timing, okay?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's like a computer. Garbage in, garbage out. If your content is really good, and my content is really good, and I have to say that myself, because no one else does that. If your content is really good, people will find it, okay? So Keep that in mind. Put out good content. Keep putting it out. The traction will come. The visibility will come. Don't get sidetracked and don't worry about it. And if you need people to talk to, you can always contact one of us. We're always there. Just send us an email. Say, hey, I'm having a problem with this. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking and, clicking through my stuff just to see where everything's going. And my bridge video isn't even where my bridge video is supposed to be. It just says like a website name across the top. And I was just like, oh God, I look like such an idiot.
Right?
And I just don't know what I'm doing. And I've asked on different, Hangouts what to do. And then I think Brian actually told me, oh yeah, just do this. And I went and I did what I thought he said to do, but then it doesn't look like it's supposed to. And I'm like, okay, now what did I do wrong?
That's the process that we're going to have to take, and it's going to take some time.
Okay.
So,
And we don't know all the answers. Here's the thing.
We don't.
We don't know all the answers. And I want you to specialize somewhere too. Right? So if I'm an Instagram expert, I can't be the Twitter expert. And if we're all Instagram experts, then where are we serving the Twitter population?
Right.
Right? Pick something that you want to specialize in and figure it out on your own. You're not quite ready for that yet, right? Because you're so overwhelmed, but let's get you going. And then I want you to specialize in something different than I'm specializing in.
Right. Well,
That's
see,
how
and
we
I've got like my Instagram account open, but again, it's kind of like I'm just doing pictures of my lifestyle and
right, and you're not using it. But maybe you want to specialize in Pinterest. I don't know. I think
no, not really. I mean, I've tried the Pinterest thing, and I put pictures on there, but it's not my thing. Twitter, I don't know anything really much about all of these different social media sites.
So pick
one.
I have them, and I have a lot of followers. And
stop it. Pick one. Grow that one.
She missed the first 30 minutes.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I did,
So
yeah.
you'll have to go back and read it and
We're
watch.
going to go back and watch this, and
You're
it's
gonna
going to
pick
help you a
one.
lot.
Okay.
Ed, do you have any questions? You've been real quiet.
No, just taking it all in. Mainly, I got to focus, on one thing. That's been one of my issues. So just focus on a platform.
We go to one church.
Yep.
Just pick one church. I don't care if it's an Instagram church, the Facebook synagogue, or the...
Michael, I want you to create that picture of all the different churches with all the social media.
Oh, I will do. I'll do that.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
Michael, I just wanted to let everybody know that I have, we talked about business pages, and then I have a Facebook business page. For whatever reason, I never really did anything with it, but I was paying $5 a day. For some reason, just out of the clear blue, I figured out on Thursday that Facebook, my minimum daily amount is $25. They upped it $20 a day without even telling me. And so you got to be careful with that stuff, because I got a bill.
And I
I'm
would not do paid advertising right now. You guys do
Well, no, I'm
not.
not being paid. Trust me, I messed it up, but I have 6,000 people, and I'm like, I got to do something with this. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, for some reason, I'm just letting you know, I know where I messed up on that. Be careful on Facebook. And when I tried to go into manage ads and change the amount from $5, it comes up like a little red triangle, and it says goes right back to $25. So I shut it off. I just turned it off, and I missed their phone. They actually called me yesterday because I told them I couldn't change the amount back. I don't know why they did it, so I got to try to contact them again.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know, watch out for Facebook, because I would have never have noticed if I didn't get my bill. And
Don't boost. Nobody is allowed to boost for the next 30 days. No boost. And I own Facebook stock. I want you to boost. But I want you to boost intelligently, and I wanted to make sure that you have content that they're putting their eyes on that's going to convert into sales. There's no reason to put a picture of you and your granddaughter on, and you boost it, and it makes you 0 sales. Does not matter. Now, so nobody's allowed to boost on anything. No boost, no traffic, no nowhere. No.
Nope, I'm done. I shut it
Step
off.
away from boost.
For now. All right, so we need to close this up because we've
Yeah.
done 15 minutes over. So thank you for showing up. And please, I'm going to put in Digital Marketing Mastery. Is that what we're called? Digital Marketing Mastery?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to put a Q&A sign up there, and I want you to ask all your questions there, and we will create We will create the training around it. And it's not going to be an hour and a half training.
No, they're going to be modules.
Learn a little, do a little. Learn a little, do a little. Learn a little, do a little, right? So they're going to be in 3 or 10-minute segments, not hour segments. We did this for the mastermind. We still are going to do this on Saturdays, but that's not what we're talking about when we get down to the basics. When we get down to the basics, it's going to be 3 to 10 minutes, then you go do.
And then this is what I want to make sure. What is the goal? For you to learn it, do it, and then teach it. How do I know you teach it? Is because I'm going to have you shoot a video after you did it. So I know that you got it. Does that make sense? So you're going to learn. I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone. That's the first thing we're doing. We're pushing your ass out of the comfort zone. We're not pushing you out of the plane. We're just pushing you out of your comfort zone. So you're going to learn it, then you're going to do it, and then you're going to teach it. Only way you can prove to teach it is shoot a quick video and go, this is what I just learned, this is what I just did, and now I'm going to tell you how to go do the same thing. That's how we're going to know each and every one of you are getting it so nobody is left behind. And you don't even have to make those videos public. They're just for the group. We just need to know that you got it. Once we know you got it, we know that you can go do it and teach it.
Sounds good.
You're all going to become professors.
Do you guys know anything about the Get Money Saturday? Is that something going on today?
Tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern.
Okay. Thank you.
All
Any
right.
questions? Anything else? That's it?
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.